Thank you. So none of you will guess that the time we were given is 6 minutes or 7 minutes or something. Except Sri Lanka, yes. I think Sri Lanka saved some time for us. So my family actually, I was intrigued by this intergenerational game. Our family is kind of intergenerational. I'm a late boomer. My wife is a kind of an early Gen X. My son is a late millennial, and my daughter is a early Gen Z. So, most of my work life, I've been academic, and I'm really, I make it a point to get a first year lecture like a placeholder. First year lecture is very easy to do, so, and then, but to get to know the kind of thinking. But if I look back at my life, I think I can say to a large extent is pre-focus and post-focus. I mean, before it was called focus on this. And I think I consider that we had a great benefit because we came in there and there was no organization. Now I realize people have an organization focus. And there's campus crusade, and there's some churches are involved in churches. So there are some decisions they have to make. And we didn't have to make a decision because they were like people said, "Can you come for a Bible study?" And I still remember. So we know when he came with his camera and all that, the university, and he was observing us for a long time, I think. And so some of us were like avoiding him because he didn't call us for a Bible study. But I'm grateful to those things. When I joined the university, before that I was doing SIGMA and chartered economy, the things that people do when they are jobless, right? After A level, you don't know what to do. My grandmother said, "Go and do. You're good at numbers. Go and do accounts." That's what I was doing. But then to come to university, it was not a real priority. And so I echo what Harsha said. God's hand. Only one person told me, go to university and see. It was all strikes, as someone was, I think Mahen was saying, every few months strike and all that, Dhavala and all these things. So anyway, I thought I'll just register. There's nothing. Registered, and then the rest of it is to cut a long story short. I got pulled in there. And my first year, the group I was most attracted to was the JVP. They were really doing things, they were organized, they were active, and so on. And I think Harsha and I have fights in the canteen also. Should we support or not? And I remember very particular thing where some of us said we should support and march with them. Harsha and some others said no, we shouldn't. And then we went around the campus, and fun people toppled the jeep and burned it. And then the leaders couldn't actually control the students. So that was a real kind of eye-opener that, those amazing speeches can cause things that cannot be reversed easily. But then these small groups, and Harsha refused to name those people who called us to this Bible study when we had to have it outside the university because it was not possible to have it in the university. And then the rest, as they say, is history. I've been an academic for about 35 years, a little more. I read a small article by a very young guy. I think he was in his 20s. He said he's only planning to do 5 things in life because each thing takes about 10 years. So he was on his first thing, 20 years to 30 years. And then he had another thing. He said, if I can't do something in 10 years, no point doing it for long. But if I achieve something, then I should move on. So either way, but I didn't take that much. By then I was, I don't know, in my 40s or whatever. But in my last 20 years, I have this thing that three major things. One is eradicating ragging. And then a bigger circle is making tuition redundant. And the other thing is, of course, connected with my work, and that is protecting society from AI. I was lecturing AI when AI was in the lab. It was not out there as it is now. So I thought, that's about me. By the way, I didn't name my family. Natasha is there, my wife. Devaka, and who's married to Pramoda, and they are both late millennials. And Sanjabi is somewhere here. She's early Gen Z. So I thought that's about me, the first part, and only two parts. I'm not going to heaven. About this, how do we see our lives transforming the society around us? And I think I have, in our Sri Lankan academic network, we have been talking about the ways in which we do this, but I thought I want to make it like more accessible to the young graduates here. The first few years, I was kind of, groping my way around. 5 years. I wasn't an academic. I call myself an accidental academic. So I was groping around, and then, so I think it's quite okay for you to do that. So only two things I was thinking of, how I'm helping to transform society, not in the typical focus way, which Harsha brilliantly put forward, as well as Ramon and some people, but at a personal level. So my one of my questions is, how many masks am I prepared to remove in front of people at work, in the church, in the neighborhood? Because we all, first thing is to know that we are all wearing masks all the time. All the time. It's very little. The only time they remove the mask is with our families. That's also not the extended family, only the nuclear family. So only the nuclear family really know us. Okay? So how many masks? So the first thing is, do the people you work with know even whether you're a Christian? I have a lot of stories about that, but how much of your real character at home do they know? And how much do you expose deliberately? And then, of course, how much of it is really Christ-like? How much is it empathetic, discerning, but also straightforward, not behind backs and all that, forgiving, and probably in the university sector, disregarding hierarchy. That's a huge thing. How do you show people in academia, in the non-academic, and the students that so I prohibit people standing up when I go into class. And that didn't happen long ago. It's kind of a new thing. And but how far will you go? You can say it, but they won't listen to you. They still get up. So I have to actually go back out and I come again, and then still those who didn't hear, I get up. And again, I don't say it again. I only say it once. And then after some time, they get the message. But then in the corridors, they are getting up. And again, I go back. And they're like, okay, so I can't pass unless they sit and things like that. Right? Small things, but so one is this thing: how many masks are you prepared to remove? And a lot of it is also to do with things like ragging. So after I held an administrative role for 6 years, and I got really distant from students because we become the palakaya. and the Palakya is the evil person. So soon after I finished that, I became a student counselor. Usually it's the other way because you want to get yourself promoted, so you become a student counselor for 3 years. No point doing 6 years because you don't add any points. But I became student counselor after my admin role and engaging with students on ragging. And I also had some really good input from people like Sanjay, who are also thinking creatively about how to do that. So this is one. The second one is practical ways in which we see the others more important than me. So we had one of the uh, things we were put up, and my red star is that for my family, because we were talking about family. But my green star is that with the others. Right? So this is a big thing I have to work on now after this camp. So how do you make others? You let others take opportunities, right? The thing is that when there's an opportunity, there's a dash for it, and um, it's kind of automatic that you also go. And university generally is based on self-promotion. A lot of it, from from opportunities to I don't know, becoming a senior lecturer or professor or anything like that. You have to write your own thing, which was very uncomfortable on me. And there was a role model. There was a guy who refused to do that. So he applied, but he still wanted to become a professor, so he applied to another university directly as professor. And then after that came back. So that's the only way if I wanted to be, I would have become. Appreciating the efforts and initiative of others. In the state sector, whether you do a lot of work, hard work, or you do the minimum, same response. I mean, you get that annual increment, that's it. And very few, I mean, of course, we can't do anything much about the increment, but appreciation, words. And many have come afterwards and said, you told me this. So then, those are the like rewards. So when I stepped down from my admin role, they organized this kind of farewell. I said, are you chasing me out? Because I was not going to go anywhere. But all of them, various people come and start talking about that those 6 years. Made me feel very uncomfortable, but things that I never thought and things that I have forgotten that I did, they are coming and saying, and I think I see a face there that is saying, yes, I also had that. Prem, I saw his video, same. Basically doing the more humble chores, because in the university hierarchy is really so sometimes people think some things are below them. So we have to move some computer, and not this kind of computer, the big one, from one floor to another floor. And some laborer has said, apito wagi and this and that. So I told the person who reported to me, tomorrow morning both of us are going to go. Unfortunately, he leaked it. And when I came the next morning, all the things were moved up. But being willing to do, some people don't want to photocopy. That's like you give it to someone to photocopy. So I go and photocopy. I had to learn also some of those new photocopy that we, learn. But I say no, I have to learn. So tell me, and I do my own. So things like that. An attitude of learning from others, I think, is a really important. Actually, all of us who have spoken so far are kind of not exactly first generation because mine and all that. I'm really looking forward to the young graduate who's going to come after me. Learning from them. learning from those, including in the university, there's a strict division between academic and non-academic. I mean, they are called, we can call support staff. Right? Academic, support. And now I'm in the private university. It's very, very different. The most important are some non-academic, like marketing. It's probably like more important than the academics and things like that. So I think overall, how do we in our workplaces show these Christian characteristics? But I am always reminded of my story my grandfather said about a very good Christian who when he died, in a village, and the village Hamadruwa and all came, and Hamadruwa said, you know, I have never seen such a good Buddhist in my life. That always haunts me. You know, and we don't say all the time, I'm doing this because I'm a Christian, right? Only sometimes you happens like when I had to give my final farewell, I could say something about that, or things like that, or individual conversations. But to most of the people, you may be a very good Buddhist, so be careful that you also. In my workplace, of course, everyone knew that I'm a Christian, so much so that one Muslim lady, she used to come and say, so only you and I fear God. All the others, they don't care what they do. I mean, signing late, all those things, they don't care. Only you and I fear God. But actually, in that respect, I had to agree. I could trust her in that kind of thing. It never happened. Okay, so the final confession is, yeah, all this you know, learning from others, being interested in what they are doing. Now my biggest confession is I have to start it with my family. I've done it everywhere else, now I have to start with my family. Thank you.